The sun had already dipped low, painting the horizon with streaks of fading orange and purple. On a lonely stretch of road outside a small town, a beat-up sedan sat by the shoulder, hood popped open, steam curling into the cool evening air. Inside the car, Emily sat gripping the steering wheel, her face pale with exhaustion. She had been driving back from a long shift at the diner, trying to make it home before night fully fell. Money was tight, rent overdue, bills piling up, and now her only car had given up on her. She reached for her phone, but the screen blinked with only one mocking bar of signal. No tow truck, no one to call, just silence and her own rising panic. She buried her face in her hands. Why now, God, why now? Then, headlights. A soft rumble of an engine behind her. A dusty old pickup truck slowed and pulled in right behind her car. Emily's heart skipped, half with fear, half with hope. Out stepped a man in worn jeans and a faded jacket. His hair was tousled, his face lined with both fatigue and kindness. He walked over, wiping his hands on a rag tucked in his back pocket. Evenin', he said in a voice low but warm, "Looks like you're in a bit of trouble." Emily hesitated, glancing back at his truck. In the passenger seat, a small figure sat, a little girl hugging a stuffed bear, watching with wide eyes. Something about her gaze eased Emily's fear. "My car just died," Emily admitted quietly. "I don't have the money for a tow truck." The man gave a gentle smile. "Name's Daniel. I'm a mechanic. Why don't I take a quick look? No charge. Sometimes people just need a hand." Scene 2. The unexpected kindness. Emily blinked, startled by his offer. You'd really do that for free?" Daniel crouched near the hood, lifting it higher. "Yeah, my dad used to say if you've got the skills to help, you don't walk away. Guess it stuck." As he leaned over the engine, the glow from his truck headlights lit his face. Emily couldn't help but notice the sincerity in his every movement. No rush, no greed, just quiet determination to help a stranger. She stood nearby, fiddling with her jacket sleeves, while her eyes kept wandering toward the little girl in the truck. The girl's face was pressed against the glass, her big brown eyes following Emily's every move. There was something in her expression, curiosity, yes, but also a strange longing. Daniel's voice broke the silence. "Looks like your radiator hose came loose. Nothing too serious. I can patch it up well enough to get you home." Emily sighed in relief, her shoulders dropping. "Thank you. I don't know how I would have managed without you." Daniel shook his head. "Don't mention it. We all hit bumps in the road. Sometimes you just need someone to stop and fix it." But as he turned back to work, Emily noticed the truck door slowly creak open. The little girl stepped out, clutching her teddy bear tightly, her tiny shoes crunching against the gravel. Scene 3, the whisper that changes everything. Emily crouched down to the little girl's height, smiling softly. "Hi there. What's your name?" The girl glanced at her dad, then back at Emily. She stepped closer, leaned in, and whispered so quietly that Emily almost didn't catch it. "She's my mom, please." Emily froze. The words landed like a thunderclap in her chest. Her breath caught. What did you say?" she asked, voice trembling. The little girl, with innocent certainty, nodded and whispered again, this time a little louder, "You're my mom, please." Tears stung Emily's eyes. Her hands shook as she looked at the child. This sweet little girl who looked at her not as a stranger, but as something she had always longed for. Daniel, still bent over the hood, noticed the silence and turned. His eyes widened when he saw his daughter clinging to Emily's hand. "Lily," he said gently, setting his tools aside, "what are you saying, sweetheart?" The girl's voice cracked as she repeated, "She's my mom, Daddy. I just know it." Emily's heart pounded. She wasn't a mother. She had no children, but in that instant, hearing those words from a child who believed it so deeply, something inside her shifted. Scene 4, the truth revealed. Daniel walked over quickly, kneeling beside his daughter. His voice was steady, though a storm of emotion swirled behind his eyes. "Lily," he said softly, "this kind lady isn't your mom. You know Mommy left a long time ago." Emily's throat tightened. "She left?" Daniel sighed, glancing at Emily apologetically. "Her mom walked out when Lily was just a baby. She doesn't remember her, but sometimes she dreams. She asks what her mother might look like, what she might sound like. I guess tonight." His voice broke for a moment. "She saw something in you that reminded her of what she's been wishing for." Emily swallowed hard, her heart aching as she looked at Lily. The little girl's eyes were brimming with tears, her small hands clutching Emily's like she was afraid to let go. Emily knelt down, tears sliding down her cheeks. "Oh, sweetie, I'm not your mom, but if I were, I'd be the luckiest woman in the world." Lily's lip trembled, but she buried her face in Emily's shoulder anyway. as though she had found the warmth she'd been missing all her life. Daniel stood quietly, watching with a mixture of pain and awe. His rough, calloused hands fidgeted nervously. "I'm sorry," he murmured. "She doesn't mean any harm. She just—" Emily shook her head, hugging Lily gently. "Don't apologize. She just wants love, and maybe, so do you." Scene 5, a new beginning. By the time Daniel finished fixing the car, the stars had begun to sprinkle across the night sky. Emily's car roared back to life, the engine humming smoothly again. "There you go," Daniel said, wiping his hands. "Good as new. At least enough to get you home." Emily smiled through damp eyes. "I don't know how to thank you." Daniel shrugged, though his voice softened. "Just pass the kindness on someday. That's thanks enough." But before Emily could respond, Lily tugged at her sleeve. "Will you come see us again, please?" Emily looked into the little girl's hopeful eyes and then into Daniel's weary but gentle ones. Something stirred deep inside her, a feeling she hadn't expected but couldn't deny. She reached out, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's face. "If your dad doesn't mind, I'd like that very much." Daniel's gaze lingered on Emily for a long moment, then he nodded. "We'd like that too." As Emily drove away that night, she kept glancing at her rearview mirror, watching the little girl waving with all her might. Her heart felt strangely full, like a piece she didn't even know was missing had suddenly been placed back where it belonged. And for Daniel and Lily, that evening was more than just a broken-down car and a kind stranger. It was the beginning of something new, proof that sometimes, when you stop to help someone with no expectation of return, life brings you the most unexpected gifts in return. Life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. That night on a lonely roadside, it wasn't just a broken-down car that got fixed. It was 3 broken hearts that found a way to heal each other. Daniel, a single father carrying the weight of loss. Lily, a little girl longing for the love of a mother she never knew. And Emily, a woman who thought she was alone in the world. Through one simple act of kindness, their paths crossed. And in that brief encounter, hope was reborn. It reminds us that kindness costs nothing, but its impact can be priceless. Sometimes, by stopping to help, we don't just repair what's broken. We open the door to new beginnings, second chances, and the kind of love that changes everything. Because family isn't always about blood. Sometimes family is found in the most unexpected places, on the most ordinary nights, when a stranger chooses compassion over indifference. And that's the beauty of life. When we give without expecting, life often gives back more than we ever dreamed.